Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel. Do not forget to like, comment, and click the red button below your screen to subscribe on Custom Reports TV.
Hello, and thanks for staying with us. The Custom Boss speaks on revenue generation in 2021. Also on Customs reports, Western Marine Command sees Seizures worth over millions of naira alongside with 6 suspects, plus more reports. I am Igiseme Edine. Stay tuned. The Contract General of Nigerian Customs Service has said that the management of Nigerian Customs Service will continue to fine-tune the process of generating revenue for the government. The CG made the submission when he was briefing members of the National Assembly in Abuja.
First and foremost, on the issue of vehicles being accosted, so I must have enlightened that we have three layers of making sure that our laws are enforced. We have at the port the area controllers and their team. We have the FOU, Federal Operation Unit, and also we have the strike force. And because of the discretion and sometimes the indiscretion of our officers, where compromise is being made between the importers and our officers, we have to put other layers to check these things. And that is why you sometimes find out, let me say this, that there are cloned custom documents going about. Agents will connive with our officers. When you pay as an importer, you give him the correct duty, he will calculate the correct amount of the duty you are supposed to pay with all charges. He gives you, and you give him the money. He will go and connive with a custom officer and reduce the distance. And then they clone the paper, and you take the vehicle out. For the FOU chap, as far as is concerned, that paper you presented did not meet the requisite requirement. That happens sometimes to innocent importers. There are also importers who connive directly with the agents and reduce the duty. And then expect that paper, when it's out, that is done. It's not like Bible and Quran, no. It's subject to checking. And if we discover that the value of the car that you are riding is not commensurate with the duty you pay, then you question. And let me also say, the issue of saying you buy a car for 180,000 naira or also euro. Cost duty of car is not only the value of the car you bought the car. There's cost of the vehicle, there's insurance, there's freight. All these are calculated to what you pay as duty. So sometimes we need to ask questions before we begin to fight the system. If they give you an amount, ask the customs officer, what is the composition of this amount? What are the subheads that makes up this total? He will explain to you. It's not only because you bought a car for 130 euro, and therefore you will come and just look at the cost of the car and then no. There's insurance, there's freight. All those are calculated and added to the value based on the cost. So you pay. That's what the law says. So it's not that So let us ask questions. I'm sure our officers will be able to explain some of these things. And that's why the issue of underpayment do arise. Because if you compromise, or your agent compromise, in most cases now we have taken the steps in custom to prosecute agents, because we have discovered that agents are cheating importers. Will give they know the correct charges. They will calculate everything and give it to you, and you give them the money. They will go and take that money, and then if you say your car is 2018 or 2019, they will go and reduce that car to 2009, and then say it's accidental. And they know that the value will drop, and they will pay that. And when you bring that car out, and therefore you officer sees you with that car, and you present that document, he looks at the car, it does not meet that description, and therefore you are liable to pay another money. So this is what is happening. This is what is happening, and we are doing the best we can, but always ask the question. And that's why we're trying to automate the system. By e-custom, you can sit in your house. You want to import Mercedes 250 E. You will see the freight, you will see what is the insurance on it, what is the freight on it. You calculate your duty. You can pay online without talking to anybody. Then you can ask an agent to go and collect it for you. It makes it easier. We are trying to automate the system. And once that is automated, this discretion will remove completely. And therefore, agents will not, but today, agents are one of our biggest problems. Because they give you a different listing, and they go and do a different thing. And they give you, when they collect the paper, you don't even know which one is genuine, which one is not genuine. As far as we are concerned, you have a genuine custom paper. But by the time the officer looks at it and says it's not genuine, the quarrel will start. How come, is it not from custom that it comes? It might not be from custom. It might not be from custom. I am going to respond to this one after the other. I would first take the chairman's comments on the issue of the budget of 2021 and the need to increase it from the 1.4 trillion to 1.679 trillion. Let me crave the indulgence of the chairman here to say the target set by the federal government every year is based on some parameters. Is not based on an ad hoc computation. First and foremost, the MTEF, which is the budget committee, sits down and look at and do a complete analysis, and then do a projection. And with our own officers, we also sit down and look at what is feasible that can be generated. And Mr. Chairman, I make haste to say this last year, 2020, we are lucky. Despite the COVID-19, we were able to garner this. But as at then, the African Free Trade Agreement did not come into place. African Free Trade Agreement has now taken effect from the 1st of January 2021. And that agreement is geared towards zero duty for all imports coming from member countries within Africa. Imports coming from countries within Africa is a significant percentage in the collection of duty we do. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, if you recall when Ngozi Owela was here, she made mention of the WTO agreement. That also has come into effect, and we are signatory to that treaty. What is also gearing to us is zero duty to the import of member countries. So if we take this into consideration, Mr. Chairman, and I also want to say here that the COVID that we are praying assiduously that COVID subsides. The vaccine is getting on and very well, although many Nigerians are shying away from it, from what I gathered. But hopefully, very soon it will pick up and most of us will be vaccinated and protected against this pandemic. But we must also make sure you understand that a lot of industries outside Nigeria have suffered tremendous injuries with regards to the COVID. So picking up and really producing and of course for our own people to be able to buy these things would take a longer time. So putting all this together, Mr. Chairman, and then when we look at the target, we would crave the indulgence of this committee to understand that we rather tread on fair ground than to be in a haste. We need to take it slowly. 1.4, the last time when the COVID came into place, the government decided to reduce that budget to 1.3 trillion. By God's grace, we were able to get 1.5 total collection. So it is also our hope that if we get anything above 1.4, it will reflect in the collection. But I don't want us to set the target too high, and then at the end of the day, we find it difficult to meet, and we feel somehow that we have not been able to perform. But there are variables, intervarying variables, that I want you to take into consideration. And these agreements, when they fully take effect, they are really going to eat much in our own collection because there will be zero duties, and we cannot enforce it beyond that. We must allow these things to come at that level. So, Mr. Chairman, I want you to take this into consideration in taking a decision as to what amount should be. And I feel that we should return to 1.4, and if anything, in the course of the year, allows us to collect anything more than 1.4, it will be reflected just like it was reflected in 2021. But I don't want us to be too ambitious, only to fall far short of what is expected. I think the morale of the officers will be sustained if we are able to either meet the target or equal the But if we begin to fall far below because the target is set so high, then there will be a problem. So I appeal that we look at these variables and consider the issue of raising the budget, the target to 1.6. We will return to 1.4, and I assure you that anything collected beyond 1.4 will be reflected just like it is reflected in 2020.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Customs Area Controller in charge of semi-border has intercepted cannabis worth over 2 million naira from smugglers. The custom boss later handed over the seizure to the commandant of NDLA at the border.
They were intercepted by our able officers. Most of these were intercepted along the beach area. Normally, what these smugglers do, they bring them by boat, and we have our intelligence, our informers along the villages here, and our officers will be waiting for them.
Yes, I'm a command. I want to appreciate this kind gesture. I always say this is for Nigeria to overcome its present security challenges. All the security agencies must work together. There must be synergy, which must be demonstrated and tested, like we are seeing today. We are very, very grateful. The exhibit has been handed over to us. We are going to take it from there. What we do is that we are going to look for the owners of this exhibit because there are abandoned seizures. We're going to look for the owners.
The controller also built a pavilion of toilets for community in the border, in line with government agenda towards Nigerians living along the border areas.
This toilet facility was constructed and built by the Nigerian Customs Service, and we want today to hand it over to the chairman of the local government. Protect the privacy and dignity of individuals. At least you have privacy to enter any of the facilities, either the toilet or the bathroom. This place, Seme, and this park is an international park. And we are going to ensure that we make our contribution for it to be functional.
This was provided by the Nigeria Customs Service because of the synergy we are having with them. The controller have earlier said that this border is the best border in Nigeria.
The controller also speaks on the welfare package of the contract job customs on building of barracks at the border station.
The efforts that the CGC and the management of Nigerian Customs Service is doing to improve the welfare of officers. At this site, as you can see, we have 3 projects going on at the same time. We have 30-man rank and file. We have another 32-man rank and file. And we have 16 self-contained flats also. These are ways in which the management is motivating officers in the performance of their duty. The welfare of officers, as you can see, the Nigerian Customs Service has taken as the very paramount for achievement of our success. Once we are motivated, we are expected to give more. They say, to whom much is given, much is expected.
The Western Marine Command of Nigerian Customs Service has accepted drugs worth over 694 million naira from smugglers. The command also arrested 6 suspects alongside with the drugs. He further explained that the goods, together with the suspects, were brought to Western Marine upon physical counting. It was found to be 147 sacks of cannabis with an average of 45 kg per sack. The estimated duty paid value of 694 million naira. The controller handed over the cannabis to Director Seaport Operations of NDLA, who thanked the customs management for a job well done.
The smugglers, they will not desist. And for the mere fact that they are not ready to stop doing this illegal business, we will not stop arresting them and seizing their consignment. The item, as you can see, is a controlled drug. And we all know the harm that cannabis can cause, and that is causing in this country. Not only in this country, in the whole world. We are talking of banditry now, we are talking of terrorism, we are talking of rape, all types of criminal tendencies that cannabis can cause.
The fact that we've been able to stop this from going into circulation is a big achievement, and I say thumbs up to you and your men, and we are so grateful to your effort. We are so grateful for your effort. We are going to just do what I would call like a routine, because we don't want a situation where somebody will say tomorrow that maybe they just wrapped some things in their cellophane or whatever. So normally when we do such ceremonies, we do small confirmatory tests for you pressmen to know that what is being taken over is indeed cannabis sativa. So we are.
The command also made a total of 12 seizures ranging from rice, second-hand clothing, and PMS with a total paid value of 720 million naira.
I've been going around, even talking to the religious leaders in both areas. I've been doing that, educating them. The reason why it is necessary to embrace a legitimate duty.
Last word for this people.
Okay. I only advise them that they should stop their illicit trade. Nigeria is for all of us. A tree can never make a forest. It is a joint business we have to do together to make Nigeria great, not through illicit business.
You may recall in 2020, the command made a seizure of 10 tons of cannabis, the street value of over ₦1 billion. Meanwhile, the United Nations has handed over equipment to customs to enable them fight smuggling in the high sea. The customs image maker has been speaking on activities of the service all over the country. He speaks on the Seizures Strike Force in Nigeria.
What the strike force have shown to us today so far clearly provide answers to some questions that we've been receiving from time to time. One of such questions are that why is it that customs release, customs intercept? Why is it that customs should use reasonable force against any person who is obviously taking goods or moving with goods that have infracted on the law? Now, without the alert, Nigeria and Nigerians would have lost already the over 1 billion naira that have been raised as a result of their alert. Now, you look at things like used clothing, you look at things like used tires that are just death traps. If these things are not seized, the grave consequences are better imagined than experienced. Sometimes we are like a people who want to arrive at a destination, but always unwilling to endure the journey. If you cannot embark on a journey, I wonder how you arrive at it.
The coordinator of the Seizures Strike Force in the Western Zone has again warned importers to desist from refusing to pay the right duty to government. He speaks more on the number of seizures made by his unit.
Was basically stolen from the seaport. No custom activities has taken place on this consignment. We have about 280 jumbo bales of second-hand clothing. We discovered through intelligence that this particular container was conveyed on a vehicle through the barge and went straight to mile 2 and dropped. Maybe they noticed, because they equally work on intelligence, noticed that they are being traced. They abandoned the vehicle there for 2 days while we were watching. After 2 days that nobody come forward, we picked it and brought it here. And we subjected the container number to system checks. And we discovered that no custom action or activity has taken place.
Yes. What is the DPR of this right now?
It's 84 million. The DPV of this 84 million alone. And you and I know the effect, the health hazard involved in second-hand clothing. See, rags have been brought in. Rags. These things have been used and condemned and trashed. So some Nigerians will still go there, get them cleaned, packaged, bring to this country. We are not that poor. Our textile industries that are moribund, if this type of things are not brought in, they will be active. And once functioning well, we employ teaming, what we call it, Nigerians.
Just before we round up this week's edition of the program Custom Support, we brought you a report where seizures of drugs were made by 2 commands in the western zone of the country. For me, Egiseme Edinye, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching Custom Reports TV. Do not forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video.